try that. Is that better? Hopefully that's better. And
That is better.
We'll make Mia gets to be seen. Alright. So this category is pretty crazy. Starts out in kind of an apocalyptic situation where this small village is going to be destroyed. The main character, a long time ago, spoilers for the lore here, cursed by a witch. Well, he can't speak, but he can nod and shake. So, fortunately, like, nobody questions it, and they just... So it works out. Also, that story is completely made up. This game, it's, in my opinion, one of the greatest RPGs. Held RPG. It's a fairly long run. This category has no RNG manipulation, so we kind of just have to hope for the best. There, I just switched text speed, so quick menu, text map. And here we're picking up Waldo, because we need Waldo, because Waldo is strong. Yeah, so that's pretty much how this starts out. I am going to be joined for commentary with Buddy here, definitely not FX.
Yeah, definitely not FX. You wouldn't know who I actually am, but it's at least definitely not FX, that's for sure.
No, as long as you're not FX, that's all that matters. Here, we're coming along at the ages of 13 and 14, and we see this guy who's hurt by a rock, wants to know if he's going to be okay. Since we're honest kids, we're just going to tell him he's going to die and move on. So these first 4 encounters here are all scripted, like the location of them, and what you go up against. Unavoidable encounters, and ideal RNG is if I can run from all of them on the first try. Got 3 out of 4, so we're off to a good start.
Yeah, so the beginning of the game, like we just call it the intro, basically lasts for quite a while, and there's not like a lot of fighting going on. It mostly just introduces you to all the core mechanics of the game. So a lot of it is just mashing through text boxes and going through a preset story before you actually get to go through the world.
While I'm going through this early mash section here, a little bit of history of this game, this category I should say. Until this year, actually, world record, Eve was over 5 hours. And then Plexa, PL Plexa, did a run of 4:45, just completely blind. And then he did another run that optimized it using a very similar route to the one I'm using. I drop a couple of non-necessary things, but I still do mostly the same thing, with a couple of minor exceptions. His route is very, very optimized. He ended up getting a 4:55. Then I came along a couple months later and got a 4:15.7, different world record. Since then, this category has actually been the most active category in the Golden Sun community. By far, actually. More people running this category have in the past months than have any other category. So,
yeah, I think a big reason for that is that it's easier to get into than the more serious any%. Like not serious as in like more valid, but harder to get into manipulated categories like 80%.
Yeah, there's a lot more to remember with. Worth noting that we'll be using some notes. Got most of it. this is, like I said, this is over a 4-hour run, so there's way too much to remember. And I actually, we were talking about this just the other day. There's no runner who actually runs this game without notes. So I don't feel too bad about having a cheat sheet. Fortunately, I do at least have the first hour and a half down.
Yeah, I think most people start like forgetting like their notes around the same mark. I remember when I was running like every day, I remembered up to like Killer Ape. I wouldn't have to look at my notes until then, but that's about the point where, you know, you can't really remember everything in a 4-hour run.
For sure. So here we have all the adults freaking out because Boulder, and 14-year-old kid decides to go try and find help. Then 13-year-old kid is like, hey, what about the buddy system? Where you going, dude? So he follows after. And then you uncover some insidious plot from random blue and red.
Who have no relevance to the story.
Yeah, these two are completely irrelevant. They're only going to be seen here in the prologue. And then beyond that, you get found out because 13-year-old is loud and obnoxious. Thanks, Waldo. That you're eavesdropping. And everybody knows eavesdropping is bad. Shouldn't be doing it anyway. Though I do think the punishment that the two random blue and red give is a bit hard.
Yeah, you might consider it a bit of a extreme punishment for a 14-year-old kid.
That was not a very quick fight. The best RNG you can get there is 4 first try runs. I got 3 out of 4. And if you get that, you're guaranteed to get Fiery Blast, which is the second fastest ability they have. But still, on a solid pace here, RNG I was given. Now we come forward 3 years, so we've got hashtag GN is now 17, Waldo is now 16, and I think Jenna is, pretty sure Jenna is also 16. And then, yeah, so we've come forward 3 years, and now we're teenagers, or older teenagers, and we're fixing up the house, finally, 3 years after the fact.
Just like every teenager, you know, they always fix houses and stuff. That's how you do.
The masters of procrastination. It is what it is. So, but with that, since I've just we've covered the story thus far, I think Zelrig, this would be probably a good opportunity for you.
All right. We got a donation here from Irie Descents. I hope I'm pronouncing it. Here's the money I promised for all of righteous death. Thanks for letting us run, and thanks to all the people helping out.
Thank you for that donation. Reminder here, everything is for Ceriam's hurricane relief. I know Ceriam is incredibly grateful for all the donations. I'm glad that I was able to fit a run in and be able to help out with that. Ceriam's a good dude. I kind of met him by happenstance playing Super Metroid, and he's been a bud ever since. So I'm glad we can help him out, and appreciate all the support that everybody's been able to give, considering I haven't been able to give as much as I would like to be able to. So, back to the story here. Turns out that now that we're 3 years older, we can magically lift objects. An ability not seen again in this entire game, to be able to lift and move objects to where we want them until the very last dungeon. And even then, we don't have the level of control that we have here, which is kind of silly. But what can you do?
Well, you are lifting heavy rocks instead at the end, so it's kind of a difference to like lifting some hay.
But I find it a little a lack of continuity in not being able to do that throughout. I just find it silly. Maybe it's just me.
There are several instances in this game where things don't make too much sense. We'll make sure to highlight them so you can laugh at it as well.
What are you talking about? This is a totally pragmatic and realistic storyline.
So these teenagers are gonna go visit an old dude in his shack. Naturally, the mother isn't too happy about it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine any mother happy about us going to some creepy old dude's house. I know my mom wouldn't have been happy if I decided to do that at that age. But we were all rebellious at that age, so why not? Let's just go have a party and, you know, hang out with the old dude. He's supposed to be really smart. I'm pretty sure that we're going to go on a quest to put candy in bags. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm misremembering the storyline here. But I'm pretty sure we're going to take some bags and go try and get candy with the old man.
Yeah, rock candy, right? Colored rock candy.
Yes, rock candy is best candy.
Speaking of candy, if you guys still wanna have that Super Metroid randomizer, all runners have to find, pick up, and use the space jump, then you have to donate. We are at $6 only out of $50, and we still have we still have 2 other goals to it. So you guys should go and donate for that.
Yeah, it's gonna be funny to see them have to pick up Sephi Beam, because Sephi Beam is objectively the best beam. So let's make them all hunted down, guys. Alright, I get a slight break from my arm-breaking mashing to go to the old man's house. And it just so happens that we passed it on the way when we were 3 years younger.
Oh yeah, I guess we could explain the mashing thing. So the way text works in this game is actually, in most like newer games, you can just hold a button and it will skip through the text. That doesn't exist in this game, so you actually have to actively spam your buttons to clear text. And the faster you do it, the text will move faster as well. And you can actually skip entire words. You can see it happening here once in a while, where he just skips the last word of a text box. And every time you do it, you're actually saving time. So it's imperative that you actually just mash as fast as possible, which can get annoying when you're doing long cutscenes. But
well, and it's also interesting to note that unlike most games, almost every button will actually advance the text. I can use A, B, L, and R. Although at this point I generally just use A and B because of how I position my hand on a GameCube controller, because mashing L and R on a GameCube controller is not easy.
Well, those are heavy buttons, you wouldn't want to do.
Yeah, well, you gotta push them so far, it's ridiculous. So here's the old man who wants to go hunting for rock candy. His name is Creighton. He doesn't really add anything to the story at all. Like, at any point in the next 40 minutes, he's not going to do anything. Except, you know, take a bunch of kids to get some candy.
And explain, like, the fundamentals of, like, nature or anything, but, you know, nothing serious.
Yeah, Creighton's pretty irrelevant. He's a very easily forgettable character. So here we have Creighton telling these kids that those 2 strangers who we saw, who were totally not the same strangers we saw 3 years ago, were talking about this sacred mountain that they appear to have seen with first-hand knowledge. And Creighton's like, hey, instead of telling the elders, who are the effective beasts, let's just, you know, break the law and go onto the mountain ourselves and verify what they're saying is true. So we have Old Man as a bad influence because he's taking some teenagers and convincing them to break the law to go get rock candy with the bags he just grabbed out of his house.
And we're off. So naturally, when you're going to try to get into some sacred mountain range, you have to get past some guards. So.
And I do find it funny that he decides to walk around the side of the building that would completely obstruct his view of his own accord. So here we are in the first dungeon of the game, if you want to call it that. We're basically just going to be going through it and avoiding combat as much as possible. The experience gained here is really irrelevant. It is possible to out-level the encounters here by getting to level 3. but that takes forever because the experience gained here is garbage. So we are legitimately not going to be doing anything here except running through to progress the story. Not by surprise, what? Hi, welcome to non-RNG minute categories.
Yeah, so we want to just run away from fights as much as possible. As he said, the experience doesn't matter at all, and it's like sort of a shame because we're just trying to get through this as fast as possible. When this dungeon is, in my opinion, the most aesthetically pleasing one.
It really is.
But we only get to see it for a short time.
So to give you guys an idea of how bad the RNG has been thus far, the way running from encounters works, if I remember correctly, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, is you have a flat % chance to run. And every time you attempt to run and fail, if you have a consecutive attempt, your chance to run increases by a flat 20%. So if I have a 37% chance to run, and I fail, it bumps to 57. Next attempt would be 77, and so on until I escape. And that is determined by my level, the number of enemies, the level of the enemies, and things of that nature. What the initial starting value.
Yeah, pretty much that's pretty much how it works, and because we're not going to be like resetting and everything, because that's what this category is all about. We can't manipulate what our run chances are, and so we just run and hope it works.
All we can do is hope. So to address something here, just because I was thinking about it, I mentioned earlier the current world record for this is just over 4 hours and 15 minutes, but the estimate is 4 hours and 40 minutes. The reason for that is because I'm not going to be doing any safety strats. I'm going to be doing this just like a PvE attempt, and that means there's risk of death. Fortunately, if you die in this game, you don't have a game over. You just go back to the most recently visited town with a revival point. And so you really just lose some time. So by not doing any safety strats, I figured probably a good idea to up the estimate to make sure that I don't set us like way back. If I have some bad, oh my god, first try run on a 5 monster encounter. Praise RNGesus.
It's pretty lucky right there.
And so in this room, this is actually one of the most important rooms in the game, because here I'm going to be setting up something I'm going to be maintaining for a couple of hours. And that's setting move and retreat to the shoulder buttons. Now, retreat, when it's on a shoulder button, has some pretty interesting properties. I'll get into that a little bit more once we get closer to Mercury Lighthouse, because that's the first place we're going to be using it, but it does set up some interesting glitches.
Yeah, as mentioned, this is the intro for this game basically functions as a tutorial for most of the basic, what do you call it? The basic mechanics for the game. So we're collecting an item that will solve a puzzle for us, and we use the item and the door opens. So that's roughly what most dungeons revolve around. You have to find some items to open new ways to progress through.
Fortunately, we have a way to skip most of those, so it's not a big deal. This one is an obvious exception, but so now we've reached an area where there's no longer any encounters once you reach, which is really spectacular because it makes life easy. Because I don't have to worry about RNG for the next, what, 25 minutes? Basically just whether or not my right arm survives. And the old creepy man who took us up here to get rock candy while breaking the law decides to point out how weird it is that we have an image of the moon in a place designed to worship the sun. And then he's like, you know what, I'm going to stay here. You kids go on your own and see what you can find up ahead. Even though up to this point we've had to have you guard me from monsters literally the entire way through this dungeon. And everything's going to work out great. seems like totally sound logic. Maybe I'm wrong.
So we're just gonna quickly solve this puzzle and progress through. As mentioned, right now we're just going to be going through this intro as, I don't know, it's not very interesting, so to speak, because, well, it's a lot of text and a few puzzles along the way.
There's so much text. Like, honestly, the run doesn't really begin, as far as I'm concerned, until about the 50-minute mark. Once you leave Vault is when things really start to pick up pace. Some runners don't like this category just because the intro is required, because you can't save and quit. Other categories, you can elect to skip the intro and have an arbitrary amount of time added to your total time. And those are the RNG minute category. But I like the intro, at least for the memes. The storyline is just A+ writing. Butte kid breaking the law, you know, get some Judas Priest up in here.
Do we have time for another quick donation?
Yeah, go for it.
We got we got a $5 donation from Koji saying, "This used to be a Mega Man X rando stream. Feels bad, man." Oh wait, wrong stream. Yeah, $5. Smiley face.
Koji comes with hilarity and the best literary material in that. Now, the sun is where the moon used to be, and now the moon is where the sun used to be. Basically, apocalyptic future. And so now we're with the creepy old man to get rock candy, and a portal into God knows what appears, and we decide, you know what, let's just go through, and he's going to send the little kids first, and if they don't die, it's probably safe for the old man to go through. Seems like sound reasoning to me. I feel like the first 25 minutes of this game is the embodiment of Stockholm Syndrome, or something along those lines.
So yeah, this is the room for the elemental stars, which is the main plot point for the games.
Yeah, this is going to be a pretty heavy expositional scene here, where Kraden, the old dude, is basically just going to be spooging himself over the fact that he's found the basic source of all magic, synergy, as it's called in this game. Synergy? I always wondered, because like, I feel like it's a combination of psychic energy, but it also...
Yes, I always say psi, but I know people say synergy as well.
It could go either way.
Do whatever you like, you know? It's your party.
I'll dance if I want to.
Exactly. Kraden doing a quick little dance himself soon.
He was finally able to kidnap 3 children and bring them to an alternate dimension where there happens to be the source of all elemental power. So he's pretty happy. He's jumping around, you know, pretty nimble for an old guy. Not gonna lie.
So yeah, he's just going over each element and just saying what they're aligned with. So yeah. So in this game we have Venus for Earth, Mercury for water, Mars for fire, and Jupiter for air.
Interesting fact, believe, now I could be wrong because I'm pretty early in my study of Japanese. This is obviously a JRPG, and in Japanese, all of the planets all of the days of the week are named after planetary bodies, which are usually named after some kind of element. So Mars, for example, uses the character for fire, and Mercury uses the character for, no, I think Neptune. Okay, no, Neptune is ocean. Mercury. Either way, I'm pretty sure that it has something to do with that, and that's why they correspond those planets, with the exception of Jupiter. with those particular elements. Or I could just be a giant nerd who thinks he knows something he doesn't. Either one is very possible.
High probabilities.
Now we've got Jenna going full Stockholm Syndrome and turning on hashtag Gian and Waldo, saying, you know, let's just make them do all the hard work, because I want to join Kraden in not doing anything. So the 16 and 17-year-old boy are going to jump across the clearly slippery floors that they just saw the old man try to jump across to collect the 4 elemental stars, because nothing could possibly go wrong with robbing an alternate dimension with the source of all magical energy. I see no flaw in this plan whatsoever.
It doesn't sound dangerous at all. I would do that.
And then the old guy's like, hey, great job, now go get the rest. And he legitimately tells them to fetch. So these guys are in effect being treated like dogs, and I'm not sure how I feel about that in 2018. Of course, I guess if they're furries it works out, but I don't know.
So as you can see, whenever you grab one of the elemental stars, a bunch of pillars pop up and open up new routes, and this is done so you can only pick them up in one way.
It'd be nice if we could find a sequence break in here to go grab the Mars star first. I feel like that'd be something that would have to be done in any percent. Any chance of an ICG in this room?
I don't think so. Sorry, man.
Feels bad. Apparently Caillou spends his weekends being treated like a dog, so it works out. So here, you'll notice that he didn't get yelled at by the old dude, so they're kind of going, what's going on? Why didn't the old kidnapper say something? And then, oh no, the 2 people who totally didn't beat the crap out of us 3 years ago have somehow kidnapped the kidnapper and the other kidnappee. Which is kind of an interesting plot twist, but not the only plot twist.
Yeah, they throw a lot of stuff at you right away.
Now, obviously they expect you to read this, but this is a speedrun, so we're not going to do that. We're just going to kind of go, yeah, whatever. But the basic gist of it is they want the elemental stars in exchange for the lives of the old kidnapper and the girl. And I don't know, having been kidnapped by an old guy and taken to an alternate dimension, I'd probably say, tell you what, I'll give you 2 and you can keep the old guy, but we want the girl. And I feel like that strategy would work if they didn't just confuse the girl by saying that the other dude in green is her dead brother, which is why she's like, what?
Color me surprised.
Yeah, nobody could have seen this coming.
So it turns out that the boy who was drowning in the river in the very beginning of this game during the storm is actually not dead, because he's right here.
Apparently the blue and red ones, since we're not in the Mystery Man, Mystery 1 phase anymore, I'll call them by their real name. Blue one is Sataros, and the red one is Minardi. I'm pretty sure that it's kind of weird that Sataros and Minardi beat up Isaac and Garrett and then rescued Felix. Like, it just seems like a logical inconsistency, and I'm not quite sure why they did it.
It's actually explained, and the reason is that they wanted hostages so they could barter with the elders of Vale, actually, but they ended up not working, and they, you know, that's why they're here again.
And so now, this other random dude appears. Turns out he's with Sataros Minardi. His name's Alex. And Alex is an interesting character because he kind of puts off this, like, truly evil vibe, like, beyond Sataros and Minardi, kind of like he's on a whole different level. And he also has this really cool ability that I'm pretty sure people didn't know for at least 10 years after this game came out. When he teleports, that's actually a synergy called Warp. And I learned that like a year ago, which was crazy, because I had always wondered what that ability was called.
It also makes you wonder, why doesn't he just warp to the Mars star and grab it?
You know, I wondered the same thing, but that actually brings me to the next point. They're saying, hey, thanks for giving us these 3, but we're not gonna let the kidnapper and your friend go unless you bring us the 4th star as well, even though I literally have the ability to teleport into another dimension. So we grabbed the 4th star, and oh no! Taking the source of all power out of the statues holding them ended up catastrophically. Who could have seen this coming? Also, giant rock with eye. Because reasons.
Yeah, this is practically the god of this universe. That's how you have to look at this floating rock.
We find out here in about 6 minutes that this is called the Wise One. And he's like insanely powerful and also a giant rock. Which is kind of weird.
And omniscient. He's also omniscient, so that's something.
And he has the ability to communicate telepathically with people, which is kind of interesting that he can also communicate non-telepathically, considering he just has an eye and not a mouth. But maybe, just maybe, all of his communication is telepathic, and we just haven't had that properly explained. For the record, coming through that portal, it's legitimately 20 minutes of mashing buttons, and my right arm hurts really bad right now.
We're almost getting there, though. There's about 10 more minutes of solid mashing and a little bit of just exposition.
What does Pet Rock remind me of? What is that from? Why do I remember Pet Rock? Why are
That's
you bringing
from My
that?
Little Pony? It's
Yes,
My Little Pony.
of course. How could I forget?
It's from Maud. Maud has a pet rock.
If only we could give the Wise One claws so we could call him Rock Lobster. Could you imagine God Rock Lobster? So here we've got slippery floors and shaking ground and giant god rock, and 2 kids trying to figure out how are we supposed to get out of this situation, because now we don't have water to land in if we slip off the platforms while they're shaking. And then they're confronted by Rock God, and they're just kind of freaking out. It won't be too much longer.
It is kind of strange that the Wise One actually asks them why they're still here, because he knows why they're still here. That's like the whole point of the story. But he asks them, I don't know, I guess he wants to hear it from them.
Well, it has to give them a reason to do some more exposition, yes. Because, like, we've got this exposition about the Djinn, the elemental Djinn. In this game, there are 7 of each element, and then 18 of each total, if you include the Lost Age. Even more than that if you include Dark Dawn, but we don't talk about that. And so they're basically explaining that by taking the source of all elemental power, the Djinn that were clinging to that elemental power are now just spreading themselves out across the world. And also that it's too dangerous for these kids who have no way of getting out of here to get to stay here. And so the God Rock is sitting here trying to stop a volcanic eruption. Doesn't seem to be a very powerful God Rock if he has no control over Molten Rock, because apparently he can't stop it. That's cool.
No inconsistencies here.
No, not at all. And then we just get teleported back to the dimension we're from. And we find out pretty quickly, turns out we weren't in a different dimension, we just got teleported deeper inside the mountain that the village is in. And the mountain is actually a volcano, and it's erupting because we took the source of all elemental power from it, which was 10 out of 10, the most brilliant idea that these kids and the creepy old kidnapper had. Now we've got everybody in town trying to figure out, why is this volcano going off? Not like the volcano's ever gone off before. Fortunately, I'm going to have like a 60-second break here shortly, which is going to be so nice.
Oh yeah, they're hashtag GN and Wado are gonna recap it for everyone, but without actually using any text, so we can just watch them run in circles and stuff.
Yeah, asking you guys, what got you into playing GBA games, especially this one, and what got you into playing especially the no save and quit category?
So for me, this is actually the only GBA game to date that I have speedrun. I am interested in running others, mainly because I just generally like retro games. You know, my primary game outside of this, and how most people probably know me, is I'm speedrunning Super Metroid. But I enjoy the older console games just because they were so well designed, and many of them weren't easy by design, and I find a lot of the newer games to be a bit on the easier side. So it's nice to play something that has some challenge to it. And then I kind of stumbled across speedrunning by happenstance and got into it. So as far as why no save and quit, for a game this long, I figured no save and quit would be the easiest category to learn to start out. And so I started out here and up getting a world record, and now I'm still trying to push it now.
Cool, thank you very much.
That's you, FX.
For me, it's just I've played this game since I was really little. Like when the GBA came out and this game came out shortly after that. I mean, I just got it, and it was amazing for like 8-year-old me, and I don't know. Since then, I've just played it like forever. And the speedrunning, I don't know. It's just a pastime for me. I don't care too much about like getting insane times, but it's for fun, and I enjoy the routing aspect more than actually running it.
Don't you also hold a world record, FX?
I'm glad you asked. I do actually have one. It's not that big of an achievement because I'm the only one who's run the category, but there's a way to play this game while skipping one of the party members you're supposed to get, and I hold the record for that category.
Fearless is the best category, to be honest.
It is, because you get to play with Double Isaac and stuff, and it's so much fun.
A little bit more exposition here. These kids are sitting here being chastised and interrogated by the elders of the village and Isaac's mom for some reason. Hashtag GN's mom. And then they decide to ask the God Rock what these kids should do, and these kids are like, you know, we'll take on the challenge that the God Rock gives us. And the God Rock says, hey, 16 and 17-year-old, you're going to chase down the two people that literally almost killed you 3 years ago and their creepily even more evil friend to save your previous kidnapper and your childhood friend. Good luck, have fun, go away. Pretty sure that's exactly how the dialogue goes.
It's hard because I have the theory, like my theory for why, but I don't want to spoil the other game that comes after this, so it's kind of...
That's fair. So here we've got, we actually missed an opportunity for a meme category called Bad Ending. If you, at one point they ask you if you'll accept the challenge to go rescue your friends and collect the elemental stars. And if you say no, you get what's called the bad ending. Is just, you're like, well, you gave up, world ends, goodbye, and you go back to the title screen with a save point here so you can continue and actually answer yes to the question. I don't know how many people have actually run the category, but it is still a funny category nonetheless.
It's just Ball, I'm pretty sure, has a time for it.
Could you imagine
you know,
going all the way through the intro and just forgetting to hit no for bad ending? Like, how debilitating that would be.
Yeah, I would cry. I would just stop. I would just turn my computer off. It would just be nope. I'm done.
Okay. So, one of the big cool things here is that sound is the in sound, which means everybody's going to be full health. So I wasn't worried about taking a bunch of damage from not being able to run from fights near the game. Because even if, in this one instance, if anybody's dead, then they revive. They go back to full health. And if actually, hilariously enough, if Jenna's the only one alive, when you get teleported back out, you actually have 1 health left. Isaac, and since you get healed here anyway, it doesn't make a big difference. So I wasn't too worried about health. I was just worried about dealing with the intro as quickly as possible. And because the RNG I got, I'm actually going to be a little bit behind here. Not a major deal, but at least worth pointing out.
Yeah, so there's only a few more minutes of mashing, and then we'll be starting the game proper, so to say, because...
Once we black screen out of this town, that's the point where other categories begin. If they elect to skip the end. Okay, now we gotta get our first Jin, and this is Flint. He's adorable. He's Flint is Bae, and he's gonna teach us how to use Jin. This is kind of the last major tutorial. Everything after this, there's some minor tutorial type stuff, but not all of them are as spelled out as this one is, because this is teaching you about something new in the combat system. Now that you're kind of out on your own doing your own thing. And this is by far the slowest cutscene, because you can't skip the text here as fast as you can in the other cutscenes leading up to this point. And Manix, I would, normally. This wears down on my arms. Like, my arms are going to hurt for a while after I finish. But, yeah, after this tutorial, there's some minor stuff as we go along. And mainly just expositional stuff as far as text matching goes. So this is really the end of the oh dear god, please make it stop.
Yeah, so this is the new added combat menu, so to speak. You can use the Jin in battle, and they're extremely overpowered, and we use them to cheese a lot of boss fights.
Cheese is delicious. My arms are gonna Okay, we are through the tutorial.
And when you thought you were done with mashing, upcoming next is another cutscene.
In fairness, though, it's to collect a new party. Oh, I almost made it. Almost made it, dude. I was like 2 steps away. It's ideal to not get an encounter from fail to vault. And I did get one encounter, but I got first try run, so I didn't lose a lot of time. but ideally you would get no encounters in that short span there. Here, we're learning about this bridge being broken. This is legitimately just to set up some more storyline. Also, we see these giant stones of Synergy just falling and shattering and going everywhere. And that's kind of foreshadowing some stuff that's going to come later that I'm not going to spoil until we get there. Hashtag LongCon. But, yeah, so now they're just going to ride right past us and try not to hit us with their horses. And then we're just going to be like, hey, we're going to go into that town we were trying to go in before these guys almost ran us over. And I'm going to introduce you guys to the real final boss of the game, this old lady. She likes to get in the way. Sometimes she likes to stay in the way. And unfortunately, I just broke the rules of No Nut November because I just got a nut from that box. And now we're picking up Ciri, aka Ivan. Ciri is our Jupiter/Wind adept. He has the ability to read minds, which is kind of creepy. He's also 14, so, you know, we're just meeting a random 14-year-old. He's like, hey, so I'm here in the mayor's house because the merchant that I was apprenticing for said that it was my fault that the rod that he entrusted me with got stolen by the thieves who were invading this town. And so he left me here and then tried to go home, and that was the guy that we saw trying to get across the bridge that couldn't because it was broken. 10 out of 10 writing. Let's abandon a 14-year-old with the mayor of some random town.
You know, that's good parenting if you ask me.
I mean, he's not his parent in all fairness, he's his boss, but, like, there's a difference between, you know, there's a difference between firing somebody and abandoning somebody in a town that is not their hometown.
No, but Hamid has cared for Ivan for a long time, so he's technically his guardian, I guess you would call it.
That's fair.
So it's tough love right now. That's what this is.
I'm coming over here to get an item called a Mint, and Mint increases your speed. We're actually going to be using that on Waldo to make the Killer 8 fight easier. And here, this is where we find two of the bandits who've invaded this town, and we're like, oh, they're running away from us, we can't catch them, so we come back over here to formulate a strategy. And it seems like a simple strategy, but I can't imagine anybody smarter than these kids who are like, hey, let's just surround these adults with weapons and try and read their mind. And so we do, and there's actually a pretty consistent strategy for this room. You go up here with Isaac, just like that, then you'll trap one or both of them in this bottom corner and get through it. It's about 70 to 75% consistent. Occasionally they give you a weird pattern, but this plan of attack works almost every time. And now we're like, oh hey, we're going to talk about what we learned. Apparently we learned that they are the ones who stole the rod that he was entrusted to, and we're going to go find it. And then we find some guy just tied up in the attic roof storage room, something along those lines. And he's like, yeah, somebody hit me upside the back of the head and left me here, so that was cool. He's apparently been up here for a while. And oh no, who could have seen this coming? Bandits appear! The bandits are coming! So this is actually going to be our first boss fight. This is the first fight we can't run from, and that sucks, but we'll deal with it. It's a pretty straightforward strategy. I believe in Plex's previous world record, he had one of his characters die here, which cost him some time and experience. Isaac's so benevolent, he's like, oh yeah, if you guys give back what you stole, we'll let you go, even though you committed a crime. Anyway, so this is the first real fight. It's a pretty straightforward strategy, but a possibility of death is possible.
Yeah, because the main bandit guy has a move that double hits basically, and you can just die to it instantly, which would be annoying.
So I'm not worried about my health generally. The odds of him doing that ability are fairly rare. It hurts when he does, but... Ooh, okay. Double input, yay. Double inputs happen from time to time. You jerk. You can beat this boss in 4 turns if he doesn't heal himself, but he healed himself because he's a jerk. There we go. Alright, so we got Isaac and Garrett to level 2. And actually, I believe they are both very, very close to level 3. So like one encounter, give or take, should get us to level 3, which will be great. And that'll happen pretty soon. Actually, once we leave Vault here, we're going to go straight to the next area and pick up Ceriam again. And then we're actually going to stop running from every encounter, because we're going to need some experience to actually level up and game.
And also, it gets harder and harder to run away if you're under-leveled.
Yeah,
so there will be times where we elect to not run because the chances are too low to be worth it, so we just end up one-shotting most fights instead with summons. Yeah,
basically the only time I'm going to be running from here on out is if I feel lucky, which is rare, or if I have attacks first. If you have preemptive strike, you're guaranteed to run first move. So if I get party attacks first, then I will run almost every time, assuming I see the attacks for it in combat. And this is far from the last tech smashing scene, but it is the last one for a while. We're finally going to get a real substantive break from this. So everybody, hashtag Mayor's Bong. It's kinda cool. Also, random golden statue. So there's really not a lot going on here. It's just, hey, we found stuff. Why don't you get your stuff and go find your boss? So he'll unfire you and unabandon you. Even though, he went north to literally the town that is the source of all the bandits that are here. And because that was a great idea. Just everybody makes really logical decisions. And so since there's nothing really going on, at least for a little bit, if you want to let us know what's going on, Zelrig, with either donation or donative statuses, probably be a good opportunity.
No more donations, so keep the donations going, guys. But I gotta remind you of the whole, we still have Harry Potter in the Chamber of Secrets with what is it? Flitwick Boogaloo. I have no idea what that is, but we are at $25 out of 50 actually, so we have there. Let's keep it going, guys.
I feel like my mashing is particularly slow today. Of course, I also haven't been awake that, but there's that. Okay.
It's great that I explain the importance of mashing fast and not mashing fast.
So now that we got rid of the bandits, we're going to come over here to the mayor, and we're going to get an item called a Water of Life. Outside of Synergy, it is the only item in the game that can revive somebody. We can also sell it for a fortune, which is what we're actually going to do. And now the tech smashing section is over, at least for now. We have another very minor one coming up, and we're pretty much done with it for a while.
Yeah, so we're gonna be heading towards our second dungeon of the game, which will be the first open world dungeon. And we're just gonna go through it steadily and try to avoid as many encounters as possible. Yeah, so that just depends on getting lucky, basically. That's the idea.
Here's the minor text mashing section where it's like, oh, we can't move that because it's too heavy. And then Siri shows up and he's like, hey guys, I'm stuck, move out of the way, I got this. And then we're done with text mashing. It's really, I think my summaries are pretty spot on. I feel like I might be paraphrasing a little bit. What do you think, FX?
I think it's about right. That's exactly what he said as far as I'm concerned.
You guys suck, move out the way, I got this.
Move out the way, get out the way.
So there's going to be an interesting concept here. It might happen by happenstance just because of the strategy I use here, but do you want to talk about rainbow kills?
Oh yeah, so when you defeat an enemy with a djinn of an element that he's weak to, you will get bonus experience. And the reason we call it rainbows is because when you kill an enemy with a djinn he's weak to, the enemy will actually die with a sort of rainbow color effect to let you know that you did that.
I believe that gives like what, 25% more experience with that?
I thought it was just 50%. But I haven't looked into it for a while, so I might be wrong.
Oh. So being level 2, they are slower than that, and that actually hurt a lot. Now, they're level 3, so Isaac should outspeed basically everything here. Marathon safety strats, healing. So. This is a large group, so I can't really...
That's an awkward encounter, yeah.
Yeah. There was no way for me to one-round this without Venus.
How do we mash that fast on a GBA, or do we have stacks of GBAs lying around in your...
I'm playing on a GameCube controller. Because I'm playing on a Game Boy player, which makes it a little easier. On top of that, we mentioned before, you can actually mash with almost every button. So I'm actually hitting A and B, so I'm double mashing, which is making it go a little bit faster. Also, I played a lot of Final Fantasy VIII with a kid. Anybody who has played Final Fantasy VIII knows that there is a lot of mashing if you use boost on your mouse. Oh, I should have targeted the right one. But you kind of just get used to it. That and I have a really fast way to mash, it just hurts my hand. Actually, it hurts my arm.
So we're just in the process of solving some puzzles so we can actually progress through the dungeon, basically. And the puzzles are currently quite simple, not very... how would you call that? Not very complicated. And yeah, so we're just casually moving through, and we're gonna skip most of the chests that you can see around, like the red boxes. We don't really need the treasure that comes from those.
That was a rainbow kill, by the way.
Yeah, so these skeletons have a low resistance to Venus, and so when you kill them with a Venus djinn, they let out the extra scream and the rainbow effect comes up, and you get bonus experience. So we're going to be fighting our first djinn here, because not every djinn wants to join willingly, as it turns out, and some of them just fight you straight up.
Flare turn 1 is good. That means I don't have to worry about death. Usually if he uses Blast, is when you get scared. But now he should be dead from Ivan's Ray. So everybody should be fine. Yep, there it is. So if he uses Blast turn 1, you actually have to take this fight a little more safely and heal with Isaac. But since he didn't use Blast turn 1, I wasn't worried about him being done. I didn't really need to heal everybody there, but again, marathon safety. I'm healing a little bit more liberally than I usually do. There's gonna be a rainbow kill too. No, this is not GBA, this is OG Game Boy Player. I have the full attachment and everything. I had the disc and everything. Finding a functional Game Boy Player disc in modern society is very difficult.
I have one back at home, but yeah, I don't really use it. So we've cleared our first dungeon, we're gonna head into town and just gonna quickly replenish our synergy with Indian.
I'm actually gonna focus on this if you wanna take the reins for a bit.
Yeah, so we're just going through some menus here. We want to buy some equipment for our party because upcoming soon will be some pretty tough boss fight, which we want all the extra armor we can get because he hits hard, very hard. So we're just buying armor for everyone, weapons for everyone, and we're going to sell that Water of Life, of course, as mentioned, because we just need the money. And after this quick shop menu, we're going to be heading into a little cavern under this town where we can grab another gin. And that's one of the strongest offensive gin as well, as it happens. We'll be picking up a gin called Gust, and Gust has a chance to hit twice.
The jar was fighting me, dude.
Oh yeah, it happens. So there's this fun quote-unquote property that jars and pots and stuff have in this game where you can be looking right at them and you won't be able to interact.
To answer the question, chat, I am not playing this on emulator. You actually cannot get, you can't submit a world record time with emulator. Emulator is forbidden for world record times because of things that are able to be used, such as Lewis scripts. They don't really affect the game, but they do give you an edge and that they give you information that you otherwise wouldn't have access to. So, I am playing this on Game Boy Player on my GameCube, so that about that. I hit the first thing. Oh wow, I didn't. I'm surprised, I figured I would.
Alright, I guess I could quickly touch on that. So, you see on the overworld you have just flat ground, you also have these patches of forest, and when you walk through forest, your encounter rate goes up drastically. So you want to avoid forest as much as possible.
Okay, so another text mashing section. We're actually doing this cutscene now because it's one, we have to come over here to get granite anyway, and granite is like insanely overpowered this early in the game. And secondly, because it's 10 seconds faster to just do the cutscene now, because there's more dialogue boxes if you come back with your party member. If you're doing me list category, it doesn't matter when you come here because you have the same number of people either time. So. But this is 10 seconds faster, only having 3 people talk instead of 4. And since I have to come over here to get granite, granite serves 2 purposes. One, granite gives a defensive barrier for 1 turn that reduces the damage that everybody in my party takes by 50%, and it's a guaranteed first move. And what that means is, regardless of speed, I get that barrier at the beginning of the turn. And secondly, it gives me access to my first tier 2 summon, which is Ramses. Ramses is both very, very strong this early in the game, and also very fast. Ramses has one of the fastest animations of any summon. I think Prakna might be the only one that's faster. But having Ramses' damage and speed this early in the game, and Granite's survivability for the upcoming boss fights, will be invaluable.
Yeah, so I think the original route for this didn't actually grab Granite first. They just went straight for the first lighthouse. And they ended up grinding some fights in the lighthouse or something to level up so they wouldn't die to the first boss. But
I think that was just Plex's blind run, because the original route did Ret first. Like before Mercury. So that was a hilarious run.
Yeah, so basically we decided not to do that anymore and just get Granite first and save time. So we're doing a small sidetrack, and then we're gonna head back to where we came from right after we get the Djinn, basically.
Getting the Djinn can be kind of trolly, though. I'm gonna have to go through a cave where encounters are possible. The problem is the cave is also flagged as in town, and in town you can't recover Djinn by moving. So if you've heard the ding while I've been walking around up to this point, that's my Djinn recovering with time. That can't happen in town. So this can actually be a really trolly moment if I get bad encounter rate, because they won't recover as I walk through this.
So right now, yeah, we're just gonna head through the cave, as he mentioned. We're gonna just get some encounters, hopefully as little as possible. Grab the Djinn, and then we're gonna head back. So between that and getting to the next dungeon, there's not really too much going on.
So we have time for another donation?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, we have one from Manix. He donated $5 saying, "Can I donate to my own run?" Too late now, huh? Sometimes.
Feels bad, man.
Wow, that okay. So this is our basic kill strategy. I shouldn't be doing this right now, but I wanted to show Ramses Ray, because it's so strong and so fast. Do you want to go over why I gave Flint to that basic concept as we go along?
Oh yeah, sure. So in this game, with the Djinn, basically, they added an entire class system, so you can change what your class is by giving different elements to different characters. So Garrett is Mars aligned, so to speak, and by giving him an Earth Djinn, he gains new synergy. One of those synergies will be growth, and growth can also be used in the overworld to create plants and stuff. And basically the game makes clever use of these class mechanics and entices you to try different things out by adding puzzles in the overworld and things like that. So you need to switch them around every once in a while just to get past certain points.
I meant to target already. Anyway, so there's actually a second piece of that I'm utilizing, and that's by spreading the Djinn out. They recover more quickly. So the Djinn can recover per live party member. They recover 1 per person per ping. And so by spreading out Flint and Granite to 2 different people, in addition to getting access to growth, which I will need coming up, I also... Ooh, good. I also make it so that I can recover Ramses in 1 turn instead of 2, which is going to make it so that I can consistently have it up for each encounter on the...
Yeah, the recovery rate for Jins is pretty high, so you rarely get an encounter before your Jin have recovered already.
Ow. That was lucky. Usually you can get... I usually get 1, sometimes 2 Jin can recover between encounters. I did have a run die because I got 0 in the room before the final boss. That was fun.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, attacks first. Yay. Attacks first is a guaranteed run, so I didn't have to worry about attacking her.
Yeah, as mentioned, whenever we see attacks first, it means that we know we can run for sure. It's a guaranteed escape, so to speak, and so we'll usually just run. And this is where growth comes into play. We can create plants and climb up.
This actually gives me access to a really strong weapon for Isaac. This is actually why we didn't buy him a broadsword.
Yeah, and weapons in this game have special effects as well. At least some weapons, mostly the ones you find in dungeons, have magical properties, and then I don't think we'll be seeing them too often in this game, but in this run, I mean. But they do have that property where they'll do an extra powerful attack.
These gnomes are really fast, which is annoying. They just eat up time. Those ice blocks have the stupid blocks, by the way. Entire game. Okay, and now we are in the frozen north. And this is where the fights start to get a little bit harder. Because technically, the game intends you to go through Tolima Forest, where I had that cutscene and just left right before getting granite, and fight the boss there. Wow. And then come up here to get things from people and move on. No spoilers.
Yeah, so basically we're under-leveled for this area, is the general theme. So, for example, these bears hit pretty hard. If we get unlucky, he could actually one-shot Ivan, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, if we get a critical strike or something, Ivan's good. This should be my last encounter before town. Theoretically.
It should be.
Alright, since we're coming up to it, do you want to start explaining the Lost Cap?
Ah, yeah, the Lost Cap. So the game reads events in a funny way, and upcoming next will be a reasonably small time save, but it looks funny, so we made a meme out of it. So we're just gonna push the guy's hat off, and you're intended to move the snowman and push him off the edge entirely, but by just casting move on the snowman, you trigger the flag that you have moved him according to the game. So he loses his hat, and then he's a sad snowman.
Where's Plexa to remind us the most important thing about this room? So, if you guys notice, in the bottom or the back left corner of this house, there is a chest. That chest contains an empty bottle. Normally, an empty bottle would be a minor nuisance. We could, either or throw in the trash. In this game, if you don't get the empty bottle, you lose time. Because it is the only empty bottle in the entire world, and we need it to put something in it. Plexa legit forgot to pick it up. His previous world record in this category.
Everybody's done that.
I believe I have done it in practice. Oh, I need to go.
So yeah, the only empty bottle in the entire world, right here. And so we're entering our first major dungeon, which is the Mercury Lighthouse. This is Mia.
This is Sephi.
Yeah, it is. And we'll be helping her solve some puzzles and then having her join our party, which I do not agree with. Let it be known.
So compared to running this without Mia, it's a lot easier with her, because Mia has probably the most broken healing spell in the game, or the healing spell class, I should say, with the Wish class, which lets her heal the entire party. Not having that ability, kinda rough. And here she can't get past the Lizard Man.
Even though she's higher level than us.
Kieran is our second level 2 summon. Kieran is really strong in this dungeon because most everything here is water-based, and the elements oppose each other. So water is strong against fire, and fire is strong against water because it happens. So Kieran is actually really, really valuable. And if you want to start going into warping,
Yeah, so as mentioned at the very beginning of the game, when he set the retreat ability to his shoulder button, we actually use that because retreat has a bug associated with it. If you use retreat while not in your sanity menus, so in the world basically, and then you don't have enough sanity to actually cast it, the game will give you an error message to say, well, you don't have enough sanity to cast that. And then you would normally just go on and, oh, game goes on. But the game actually thinks that you did cast it. So the game thinks your character's in the first room, because that's where retreat would normally send you. So then all the door numbers change, basically, because every door has a number associated with it, and yeah, so just what you saw there is he cast retreat, he didn't have enough sanity. The game thinks he's in room 1, where all the doors have different numbers, and so going through a door creates a wrong warp into a room where you're not supposed to be yet. And by doing this, we can skip large portions of dungeons, which is pretty handy.
It is unbelievable, Danny. You skip basically every puzzle in this entire dungeon. Forgot that I had B, so I just started mashing A and B.
Alright, so we're actually first on our way to pick up another gin. We want the extra mercury gin that we can get in this lighthouse. And after that, we're going to execute another wrong warp all the way to the final room of this dungeon, actually.
It's been a while since I fought this gym, I'm sorry. Fever, and this fight is structured with this particular setup and strategy to be a one-round fight. That said, this Jin can still one-shot Ivan, so it's kind of a toss-up if it works or not, and it ended up working. Like, and by working, I mean Jin didn't run and Ivan didn't die, so we're off to a great start.
Ah yes, Jin running, we haven't explained that yet. So these Jin, where you actually fight the Jin, can actually run away from you as well, and then you have to leave the room or the area entirely and come back, try again. So whenever the Jin runs, it's a big time loss. So we basically, whenever we encounter a Jin, we just bless RNG and hope it doesn't run away. And there was our final warp for this dungeon, which sends us up to the final room immediately. So just setting up for the boss fight that is to come, as is usual at the end of a dungeon. So we're moving some items around, moving some Jin around, setting them to stand by, so we have the correct setup, and we're going to be following a specific strategy for the boss fight that is to come, which is arguably one of the harder boss fights when playing the game casually as well.
Save and quit gives you, to the question in chat, the benefit of RNG manipulation. Because when you do a hard reset and a soft reset, those affect the RNG specific ways. I don't have access to those. I don't have RNG manipulation. Also, real quick, shout out to Jenna's face. And I'm actually going to commentary the fight so I can focus.
Yeah. So the upcoming boss fight is pretty tough. I'll go into why the Jenna's face stays up first though. So the reason the text boxes don't clear properly is because we're not supposed to be here, basically. The way we entered this room is through a door that is only available, or should only be available, when you've already cleared the dungeon. So the game gets very confused. It's like, well, but the sprite, so it didn't load any sprites for the other party, so we can only see Sadaros, but all the other party members that we saw earlier on in the game, so Felix, Minardi, Kraden, and Jenna, are all here as well, normally, but because we're loading the room wrong, the game didn't load the sprites in. So we're just chatting with a bunch of ghosts and have some more text boxes stay up. The screen is gonna look very funny by the end of it. So the boss fight that's about to come up, as mentioned, is very hard. This is why we got Granite, this is why we got all the armor and the weapons. And the reason it's so hard is because he does incredible amounts of damage, possibly. And his moveset is actually based on a pattern. But we don't know what the pattern starts at, because we can't manipulate the RNG in this category. So it's possible that he starts out with a weak move and then instantly hits with his most powerful one, which would be a bit troublesome. Okay, so he starts on Heat Flash, so we're not quite sure where we are in the pattern yet. We might be somewhere midway, might be near the end. We don't really know, so we have to see what he does on the next turn.
We're early. This is turn 3, Fireball turn 3.
So let's see. Yeah, so Fireball turn 3 is indeed early on. So his next move should be attack, and then the fight goes on, and we're trying to. The reason we want to know where we are in this pattern is so we can actually grant it on the proper turn, because we need to avoid one specific move, so to not die instantly. And so far it seems to be going well. We're just healing up, trying to avoid the big hits.
I forgot to use Granite. I was thinking next turn was Fireball. I'm an idiot.
Alright, so yeah, because he didn't use Granite there, he ends up not being able to use Ramses next turn, which is a slower turn for our boss. But now we can't use Granite here because the turn after that will be his most powerful attack, so we have to wait and just basically stall a turn. Heat Flash on Guard is good for us, by the way. Guard has the most defense of all of our party members, so if he keeps attacking Guard, we're very happy, basically. This.
Next turn is Eruption. I have to use it. Somebody's guaranteed.
Yep. So that's, as I mentioned, the weak turn, and then next turn comes his most powerful attack, which can actually one-shot. So that's why we need Granite here. So aside from the small mistake, the fight is progressing steadily and we're doing fine. So now after the eruption we get 2 slow turns, he will attack and then he will heat flash. Our characters seem to be in good shape, not too much to worry about. We'll be using Granite on this next turn to prevent the fireballs from hitting hard, and I believe he should be pretty close to dead by now.
Okay, that was a really bad fight. I forgot to use Granite on the fireball turn, and everything just kind of snowballed from there. It worked out. Nobody died, which is good, so I didn't lose out on any experience for anybody. And I don't have to stop by the Sanctum. Stopping by the Sanctum after the Sadaros fight is really bad, because once you finish Mercury Lighthouse with Mia in your party, if you go to the Sanctum, you have a really long and stupid cutscene where she talks to the little kids there. We no longer have to deal with that because nobody died. I can just get the water and move on. But it was far from a clean fight.
Yeah, it could have been better. You missed out on having 1 extra Ramses, basically. So, could have maybe killed him the turn before that, but...
Yeah, if I hadn't messed up, I could have probably killed him on either attack or eruption. The attack after eruption. Hopefully I don't make that mistake when I get to Fusion Dragon. Making a mistake on Fusion Dragon costs so much time, dude.
Have to spam defend and ugh.
So basically they're saying the only reason Sadaros got wrecked is because he's fire and Mercury Lighthouse is emitting a strong wave of water power. So you'll actually notice if you use Synergy with Mia throughout the fight, she actually recovers her Synergy points every turn. That's because of the light of the Mercury Lighthouse, and she's fine. Alex is like, well, I'm Mercury Line too, so if you plan on killing Sadaros, then I will wreck everything that you are, and we'll be merciless and bloody. So we're like, you know, okay, we'll just let you teleport away, and we'll just keep chasing after you, because that's how things work in this game. And shout out again to Janus Sphinx.
May I mention that we are currently at over $2,000 already, so thank you very much all of you guys for the support.
Yeah, it's actually really great to see everyone come together to help Ceriam out. That's just great. I'm very happy to be able to be here as well to commentate MisterJGiggles' run.
See if we can hit that 3,000 goal, guys. I believe we can do it.
Oh yeah, let's go, boys.
Okay, so the empty bottle we got, we're actually going to be putting the water of Herm into it. Kind of what we were talking about at the top of the lighthouse. Mia's like, oh, I'm coming with you. And we're like, but why though? And like, well, the water's here, so everybody has something to heal them. I don't have to be here anymore. Shut up and take me with you. And that's basically what's going to happen. Is we're going to just take her with us.
And this is why we needed an empty bottle, of course. So we're grabbing this healing water, and that's another thing you can forget to pick up, and then you will be very sad later on in the game. I've done it in a run myself as well, and it's well.
I just should have used Ramsey's Bionic faster. At least with the Jupiter Gen on her. But I didn't think about it. Oh, that's nice.
So we're just going to be backtracking a bit, heading back to where we picked up granite, actually. And we're going to go into the forest now and clear that one. Because that's where we have to go next, actually. Before we can progress further, we need to find out what the evil guy in the forest is up to.
Ramsey's ring is still sufficient to kill basically everything in here. So, it's kind of what I'm going to go for.
Yeah, because we just went through a high level area, so everything went a bit slower because we needed more damage to kill enemies, but now we're going back through this dungeon reversed, and well, enemies are going to be weaker again, so we can revert to our faster strategies. And our encounter rate has been okay so far, I would say. It's not been great, but it hasn't been bad.
Now, because of the level we are, level of the area, I'm not going to have a single encounter until I get to Tret Tree. Like, I'll get through Kalima Forest, and because there are some rooms where Void doesn't work, I'll have some encounters inside Tret, but I out-level everything now. So all I'm going to be doing is running for quite a bit.
Yeah, so we're just gonna head back to the forest as mentioned and clear that out. And the forest is one of the few places where it doesn't matter that you're playing like no save and quit as opposed to minute run, because in Kalima Forest it's very hard to manipulate your encounters. So it's basically the same as if you're just playing it regularly.
I always screw up this dungeon, by the way, like 6 days. Let's hope I don't do that today.
And the game designers at least had the grace to make puzzle rooms not have encounters. So for example, this little log puzzle we're doing right now, we're not in danger of getting an encounter because, well, they decided it wouldn't be fun if you were trying to solve a puzzle and constantly getting fights. So this particular space doesn't have any encounters. The moment we jump over the water, we'll have encounters though. But not because we have a void, so I guess not. But yeah.
The void is just so great. It really is. There are no encounters at all in this room though. Damn room. Any room structured like this does not have encounters. I think that's true in TL. So I'm not even going to refresh a void until I...
I think it's a good choice by the developers that you can do puzzle rooms without encounters. The puzzle is not very elaborate, as you might be able to tell, but...
Don't know what I'm doing anymore. It's too early for me to be losing my mind.
Good thing there's no encounters in this room, otherwise that would have been...
Yeah.
That would have been something.
Yeah, that would have been bad. Unfortunately, because this dungeon was intended to be done for Mercury Lighthouse, nothing's really going to do a lot of damage to us. And we're going to basically just run counters we get, except for the Djinn and...
Why did you run around the right that room though? I've never seen that. You can just go left.
I don't know. Like I said, I'm losing it. It's a thing that's happening. This is just
Alright, so we're on our way to pick up another Djinn before we fight the boss in this dungeon. We wanna...
should be the last time I cast a void the entire run. Unless this Djinn runs from me. This Djinn is notorious for running people, because this Djinn is a jerk.
Yeah, the Jupiter Djinns are real jerks. That's exactly what they are.
Come on, Breeze. Be a pal. Be a pal.
Alright, let's see it.
Yes! Oh my god. Holy wow. Ivan just got wrecked. It's a good thing he's Jupiter aligned, or that would have killed him.
Yeah, Djinn are really powerful as well, guys. So Djinn actually can kill you if you're unlucky.
Wait. Caught by surprise, oh god. Why?
Ouch. Yeah, that's always something. At least you got to run away right away.
There is that. Attacks first! Ah!
Guess it balances out.
Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna do one last little setup thing before Tret. By the way, it's totally okay if you fall through like a 6-story tree. You will land on your knees and they will not shatter every bone in your body.
It's a superhero landing, that's what he does.
Right? Totally doing this from memory, guys. I'm kind of questioning myself because I recently dropped Tret from my notes. so I'm kind of questioning if I'm doing everything right.
Yeah, so this is another boss fight, but it's one of the easier boss fights, so we don't really have much to worry about. Because, as mentioned, you're supposed to do this area before doing the actual lighthouse, so the boss here is like much weaker as well.
Maybe asleep. This should kill this turn. Alright, that was a clean fight. So, I'm very intentionally healing everybody that I need to heal with Isaac to drain his synergy, because I actually have to do a retreat glitch coming up with him soon. So I want his synergy to be low, so that I can do that. That'd be the... I guess there's 6 retreat corps now, because I forgot about Zephyr.
Oh yeah, you go through that door. Yep.
Yeah. There's 6 in the entire run. And this is getting Zephyr is going to be my next. That's coming up pretty quick, and Zephyr is actually really useful. Increases everybody my speed. We only use Zephyr in a few boss fights. I want to say Kraken, Manicore, and Satros Minari. Outside of that, we don't really use Zephyr.
Yeah, he I think it just straight up doubles your agility. That's pretty good. We'll just have a quick cutscene. We're gonna mash through it as fast as possible, and I think we sank. Oh, we're obviously not sank anymore. We retreat out and. Head across the river because the river that runs below the town to the east, so to speak, was actually closed off because everybody was trees, and now that everybody's human again, we can have the bridge keeper lower the bridge for us.
Shout outs to the trees, man.
Can I ask you guys, this is probably also interesting for the chat. First of all, if that's 4 hours 40 estimate time, what are your PBs, and does this actually run slower on GameCube than it does on the original GBA hardware?
It doesn't run any slower, doesn't run any faster either. My PB is the current world record, 4 hours 15 minutes 7 seconds. The estimate's 440 because if something goes wrong and I would have what would essentially be a dead run at some point going on, it wouldn't technically end the run. It would just cost an unbelievable amount of time. So that's why the estimate is 25 minutes higher than my PB. I don't think FX actually in this category. But he's watched me do it.
No. I know a decent amount about it, so that's why I'm here basically, because I know about the inner workings of the game.
Alright, thanks guys.
No problem.
And to elaborate on like where the big time losses could be, for example, if you die to a boss at the end of a dungeon, you get sent back to the last town you visited with a revival point, and that can amount to up to 20 minutes of time lost if you're really unlucky with which boss you lose to. Well, that's pretty much why we added so much time to the estimate.
So this is going to be our second retreat warp coming up here. And again, the way it works is it makes the game think you're in the first room, and the doors each have a number associated with it. So it actually takes you through the door that's associated with that number room.
Yep, so we cast some Synergy and heal people to drain our Synergy points, and then we can cast Retreat and have it fail and trigger the bug, so we can enter this room early and skip all the puzzles in the entire dungeon.
Yay! Zephyr didn't run. Zephyr running is like the worst Jin to run, too. Because you have to go so far to get back to that stupid door. So glad Zephyr decided not to.
Don't worry guys, there's plenty of other opportunities for Jin to run away from MisterJGiggles. So you can hold up for that if you want to see a scramble to fix it and try to save the run somehow.
That's what I needed, was enough synergy here. So actually we don't need the synergy item you can get from there, which gives you access to Force. You need... No. You... So we just got access to the strongest, or the fastest, I should say, tier 3 summon, which is Prochna. Prochna is Jupiter and is stupidly fast. Basically everything, almost everything in here can be killed by Prochna by itself. Things that can't be killed by Prochna by itself will also use Plasma. But basically everything in here is going to be killed by Prochna, because Prochna is just fatal.
Yep. It's like not even a second, or I think it's barely over a second in terms of time that it takes to cast the summon. And it one-shots pretty much everything, as mentioned, so it's really good for speedrun.
And the way I have everything set up right now, with the Jin, having Forge on Mia, and the 2 Mercury Jin on Ivan makes it so that they will outspeed everything in here, which is really important, as it makes my life easier. Not my surprise, why? Ugh, jerk.
At least they didn't won't charge.
Oh yeah, they didn't attack Ivan.
By the way, we have a question here from chat. Manix asking, have you ever listened to the battle scene in full? Does it just loop like this, or does it extend?
It loops. Like the whole battle.
And I see we have another question in the chat as well. This is a cool run so far. How actively is this game run? This particular category is reasonably active right now. Nothing compared to big titles like Super Mario Bros, but reasonably active. The community around the game itself is very helpful as well. So it's easy to get into, because if you have questions, people are ready to just help.
As it stands, this is the most active category. I want to say 5 or 6 runners actively running it. By active, I mean having posted a personal best in the last 6 months. Not everybody has posted their personal best to the leaderboards, but there have been at least 6 people who've gotten personal best. I don't think High Spirits ever is.
No, but he was just practicing on that one as well. I think he only wants to post it once it's actually a decent time.
We're good. We're back to where we need to be.
So we just picked up our 3rd Venus Gym, as opposed to the 3rd Jupiter Gym, which is very useful for us because of Procna. The 3rd Venus Gym doesn't really do that much for us because the summon we get from it, which is Sabel or Cybele, is extremely slow. It's the slowest one in the game. It takes a very long. I think it's like 10 seconds. It's actually crazy.
It's really strong, but so oftentimes when you have to use Cybele, we call it the Cybele of Shame. End of the hour in the chat. Ceriam, how are you doing, my man? When I go into Elven Shirt's magic.
Yeah, sure. So the Elven Shard is an item that increases the wearer's agility by, I want to say 60%, but it might be a bit less than that. But basically, your speed goes up drastically, and this is very useful because we want to outspeed most encounters in the overworld to avoid taking damage, because we want to just go and press Procna and Plasma or other synergy. And if you're too slow, then your opponents or your enemies will they will outspeed you and they will just do damage to you. And taking damage is very awkward because the more damage you take, the more awkward the next encounter is going to be, because you want to heal as little as possible to save time. So if we outspeed everything, then things die before they do damage and we're just happy.
Yeah, I was right. I don't know if Procna's gonna kill that. Yeah, I was like, oh my god, I could have just plasmed it. I realized the ghost really good at that. Okay. Set out for this.
Yeah, so there's an upcoming boss fight here. We'll be facing a giant monkey, let's call it that. And he does a lot of damage. So we want to be pretty careful with setting up, and our strategy will revolve around not getting one shot, basically.
It's usually how it goes. Bird, mast. I forgot to use the milk on Garrett. Specifically for this fight, and I forgot to use it.
This is, I don't know what to say, man.
It's just one of those things. Okay, we're gonna have some fun. Normally I would use Fly, but nobody actually took damage that turn, so Mia gets a free turn to use Tundra, even though Tundra does a lot. Using Cybele and Tundra might make this a 3-turn fight instead of a... Awesome. Also, behold the Cybele of Shame.
Yeah, it might have been faster just not turn it into a 3-turn fight, just take the extra turn. That's how slow Cybele is.
Her. Guy is really slow. Forgot about the thingamajig there. Oh my god, I still have a 4-turn fight. Why? That's just really bad.
Yeah.
So that was unnecessarily slow. Ooh. Why not? We'll just leave it up all the way through. There we go. Making sure everything's spread out. And it is.
So we're entering this little village to grab this Jin we can see on the right of our screen. And to do that, we need to wait for this girl to carry water towards us, and then we annoy her. And then she drops her water and goes back to grab more, and in the meantime, we're going to use our magic to turn it into a pillar of ice and grab that Jin.
This gives us access to Neptune, which is also very, very slow, but very powerful. Couple of them. X first! Because I don't care. Yes.
And it might be worth mentioning, maybe as a suggestion, that should we end up with a very slow run, we could show off some of the summons rather than skipping through them.
I mean, it kind of depends on the pace I'm on.
Yeah, exactly. If we end up on a slow run, then perhaps. So start rooting against this stream of waves.
Thanks,
We want to see
man.
those. We want to see those summons come out.
Yes.
So we're really picking up pace now with more and more Jin, and with that third more Jin, we actually get access to Tiamat, which is a reasonably quick summon, and it's very powerful as well. So between Procna and Tiamat, most things will die on the first turn.
Can't believe I made it to Alpine with only one encounter. Oh man. So Altin has some shenanigans. This is actually where our next retreat warp is going to happen. Not like immediate, but it is going to be coming up here.
Yeah, so we find out that this town is flooded, and why? Well, because these statues came to life, and they're flooding the town because, I don't know, they have fun doing that. Don't ask questions.
This storyline is 100% believable. From the kidnapping of the teenagers, to the kidnapping of the kidnapper, all the way to the monsters that are flooding a town. And beyond. Also, this is the most unbearably slow cutscene. Ceriam watched statue teach you how to use Frost. Like, you're supposed to learn how to use Frost from this statue, and then go back to Jean to the third murder. Like, that is the intended order of event. Is you don't use Jin in the overworld until you're taught how to use them. Just wish they would have made it hop. All I'm saying. See if I remember this.
Yeah.
Fever. Rockna.
The way we kill these, the statue in the manipulated runs is just to go, we just go Tiamat, Cerebel, and Prochna.
I just had a living statue fight with no damage. I don't think I have ever had that happen to me before.
And it was a fast one as well because it was a miss and just a regular attack.
Yeah. Okay.
Alright, so by killing the statues, we lower the water levels in the town. So the way you're supposed to progress here is to just go through the dungeon like tier by tier and clear out the statues so you help all the villagers regain the shops, and you can then enter the shops and buy more gear. That's how it normally goes, but we don't really like that, so we're just gonna skip all of that in a bit. Oh, you got a sleep bomb for free.
I don't even know when to use it though.
That's the shame.
Attacks first. Free run.
Yeah, so right now we're just slowly progressing through the dungeon. As we have through most of the game, we just try to keep encounters to a minimum. We run away when we can. And after this statue, I believe we can skip the remainder of the dungeon.
About half of it, because we're pretty bad. The warp's pretty good. But we don't have to fight any more statues, is the important thing. Fighting the statues is slow. And also, it's not like a guaranteed don't take damage. This.
Oh, a vial, that's nice. Just getting some good item drops.
Mean to auto attack with her, but it's alright. About as fast as defending anyway.
Depending on how fast your inputs are, it's faster, because you could get double inputs when trying to defend and then you're sad.
Right. I feel like I don't need the plasma, but I also feel like I'm in a plasma for God, it's the jar all over again. God. Please. Oh my god.
The interaction is great.
Game is well designed, 10 out of 10. No bugs whatsoever. Getting close. I'm gonna try it. Could be fine. Yay!
So yeah, this door up here is going to be our next warp, if I'm correct, and then
Yep.
we'll be skipping the remainder of the dungeon.
Now we're coming up on some exposition. This is actually the longest cutscene, I believe, until the end, until Tolby. So if you want to let us know on donations or probably a
No donations yet, sorry for that. So if you guys want to still hear my cute voice, then you gotta keep these donations coming, guys. Let's see, we still have Bit Wars open. We have 3 ninjas kickback, easy, cold as default. This one's still open. We still have Link to the Past randomizer. And we have oh, these are the... Okay, now I see. We have Link to the Past randomizer, we have Crystal Dungeons only. This is still open.
Is that like guaranteeable possible? I feel like if there's an item you need and what can you do? Or an item on the pedestal. So the basic premise of this chat is come talk to this lady. We're like, hey, what up? And hey, I was expecting you. No, we've never met each other, talked to each other, talked about each other before. And she's like, yeah, I know. I can see things because I'm magic and stuff. And, so I'm going to teach you how to be magic too. And then you can get out of here and go face a desert that may not have plans to kill you. And then this other chick comes in, like, hey, you did this to me, and now I can see things. Why are you doing this to me? We're evil. I don't trust you. And she's like, but wait, spoiler alert, there may or may not be somebody related to me in this room. Magic, and then you go use that magic and you fight a giant chimera manicore thing. I'm pretty sure that's how the dialogue goes. I haven't read it in a while because I kind of just zoomed past it, but I could be wrong.
It's about accurate. It's about. But yeah, it turns out that those aligned with Jupiter have the power to be clairvoyant, which is pretty OP if you think about it. But it doesn't really come up anymore throughout the run. I mean, throughout the games even, that you can be clairvoyant. But that's just the consistency we love this game for. Gives exposition and then does nothing with it.
Right. Shut up and let's go, Ivan. We got stuff to do. We got things to kill.
An evil desert to traverse.
So, an interesting thing to understand, and this is actually going to lead into my explanation of Comic-Con. An interesting thing to understand about Reveal is the maps that Reveal is on are actually a separate plane. It's a separate map. I don't know why I ran from that. That was dumb. I should not have done that. That could have ended horribly. Anyway, it's actually a separate map altogether. Anyway, They're actually a separate map entirely, which means you can do a retreat warp out of them, just like you could anything else, or any other room, and we're actually going to be utilizing that in this map. I don't know why I did that. Was really bad. I'll explain why. Anyway, so we're going to use a retreat glitch out of a reveal map to put us in a really awkward spot that's going to get us to toss a little bit back.
A little.
It's not a huge time save, but it is kind of cool to see.
Man, you're getting healing items left, right, and center.
I don't need any of them, though. That's the problem. Oh, hey, look, a Jin. So this is going to give us our first Tier 4 summon. Just so happens to be the slowest Tier 4 summon. And that's okay.
Yeah, it's fine because Tier 4 summons are busted, broken, OP. Yeah, you'll see.
Okay.
Grandpa saying, "God, I hated this desert." Yeah, this casually, this desert is a nightmare when you're first playing the game.
So the reason I do this way is since Jin recover on secondary turns, this gives me all my Jin available. Do Zephyr on 2.
Yeah, so the reason this works is because the game puts some sprites on the 0-0 coordinate, and it just so happens that Manticore is on our beloved 0-0, and so we can just walk up into the corner of the map and talk to him.
This leaves it, or makes it so I don't have to go through a pretty long walking section. But honestly, it does not save that much time. But it's kind of cool looking, and that's why we do it. Wow. Wow. Go. Comments. Okay, so it turns out I did need one of the healing items, so it's really good that I got one. Because I didn't have enough synergy points to use Cure Isaac.
Yeah, so this is another boss that actually fights on a pattern, and the boss is almost over by now, but I figured I would still explain it. So, so similar to Sadaros, where we know we have like a specific pattern, and after 1 or 2 turns we know where we are. It's the same thing with Manticore, except I think you might already know on the first turn, because he does 2 attacks per turn.
This fight, we actually, like, the pattern exists and we're aware of it, but the attack order is structured around that, so we don't worry about what he's going to do. We don't do anything reactionary like we would in Catteros. We do the same for turns every time we fight. Oh my god, that just happened.
Oh yeah.
That was not pretty. Fortunately, there are no encounters right here. In this cave.
So, ended up using our single water of life. We're getting another one on the next boss fight, which is a while away, but we're getting there.
Really?
So this area here is very annoying because we're looking for a Djinn, but they didn't. I feel like they didn't properly map it, so you always encounter the Djinn. So you get unlucky and not find him for a while. So let's see what happens.
Oh, that's very bad. Oh. So I didn't get my Jupiter Djinn recovered, so I don't have Thor. Usually you just plasma Thor, and it's like, yeah, whatever. So I'm kind of winging it right now and hoping for the best.
I mean, Tiamat Cybele should still kill. Or Neptune, I mean. Yeah, not Cybele, obviously.
Yeah, Cybele would be a bad choice here. Oh my god, no. No, no, no. Please God, no.
He didn't. No.
That worked. A little bit of panic set in, but we're good. Oh, I forgot to split my card, by the way. Okay. My heart rate went up a little bit, not gonna lie.
Yeah, that was a lucky mad growth, to be honest.
That was insanely lucky.
But hey, you're allowed to be lucky every once in a while. So we're gonna do a quick little trick here. We're gonna enter this cave and then just walk right back out. Are we not doing that in this? Oh, never mind.
I should have. I didn't.
I was like,
The reset
wait.
encounter steps, yeah. I just
yeah.
I just forgot. That's my beat. I remember this because I. Ooh, one of.
This shop is just safety precautions for the next boss fight as well, a bit. And as you can see, we are rich right now, so we can buy whatever we want.
And because I realized I don't have enough, I can talking to that yellow guy, sets up an upcoming cutscene. If you don't talk to him, like, he is the event trigger. If you don't talk to him, it just doesn't happen. And it's really annoying.
Yeah, some quest progress is pretty hidden in this game. So sometimes you're just, if you're playing this casually for the first time, you could easily get stuck on some spots. Like figuring out that you need to bring the water, or like the Hermes water to Tret. Figuring out that you have to talk to the guide before you can continue your story, that kind of thing.
That's right. Just making sure. I'll have to sit movement once we get to Kraken. Oh god, no.
Yeah, and we're saying once we get to Kraken, but it's gonna be a while because the way you get to the next boss fight is you have to go on a boat and sail across a sea, which is gonna take quite a while.
So, funny story here. I accidentally knocked over my green screen. If you're looking at my stream, you can see how Garrett and Mia are still kind of there. Everybody else is kind of not, because it's just kind of hanging out up there.
Well,
so we just got rid of Ivan and Isaac. That was fun. That's funny. I did not picture that happening during this. I legitimately, like, I haven't been running with a camera for a while, and I set it up specifically for this run. And then I was going to take my green screen down. It looks like it's doing half the work for me. So, that's nice of it. Unfortunately, there's no point in this run to have sufficient time to fix it. So we just kind of got to deal with it how it is.
so we're going back to cutscenes, which is a big part of this game.
Oh,
As you
God,
might have
no.
noticed from the first 50 minutes.
Boat, there's so many.
Maybe I can remind you guys then that we still need $25 to hit the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe goal, Diaper Run. Racer will be Baby Rosaline.
We also still have the Super Metroid Randomizer, right?
Yeah, Spazer. Spazer required.
I want to see that, to be honest. Let's get that one, guys.
Exactly, this one is still at $6 out of 50 though.
Yeah, so get in there, guys.
Yeah, let's go, boys.
Kind of fun. Look at, like half of it. Back of Mia's head. About it. So apparently the sea is dangerous.
Very well might be.
These people want to cross it. Like, want to go fight in this tournament? Because this tournament's gonna be great. Even though we had not heard of it before we got on this boat.
So these two guys are trying to get the guy to go talk to the captain to set sail because the red-haired one is afraid of water, so to speak. So they want to really get moving, but you know, the guy is like, nah, we can just wait. So obviously they run off and go talk to the captain themselves.
By the way, superstition is apparently a thing, because we're not going anywhere without the thing that we just grabbed off the mast. So yeah, there's that.
I mean, is it really superstitious to like be afraid of stuff without to be afraid of stuff if you don't have your magic anchor, so to speak, when there's literally people who use magic out in the world?
I mean, I guess that's fair. I'm just saying, like, it's kind of hilarious because, like, the bad stuff happens anyway. Like, nothing changes.
Yeah, it's not like it worked. Got some explaining to do, Mr. Captain.
There's 4 crewmen injured, 2 passengers injured, get saved by a bunch of teenagers. Yeah, like, it's all ridiculous. Like, I had to pay 600 gold to get this stupid ticket, and you're not gonna let me go unless I agree to fight for you. But I do want to talk about, and you guys will see this as we go along, I do want to talk about the extreme dereliction of duty of a bunch of teenagers, because they are legitimately unable to protect the people they're supposed to protect. Like, it's just, why does nobody hold them to account for that?
Yeah, that's at least negligence, but you know, fantasy world, so we're all good.
Right. Yes, Frost, I am very much aware. My background fell. It's okay. We'll roll with it as is. I guess I could turn off the camera so all you can see is the golden sun in it, but that would be rude. We have to watch this cutscene, what, 4 times?
Yep.
The exact same cutscene?
And it's not particularly interesting either, because we're gonna one-shot every fight that we get. So yeah, this is one of the most boring parts of the run, so to say. And if we die, it's one of the most like expensive on time.
So this boat ride is 100% of the reason why my estimate is 25 minutes over my because I have a very real possibility of dying on this next boss. And if I do, then I'm going to have to do this entire boat ride over again. Now, the odds of me dying are like, what is it, 23, 25%, somewhere in that range?
It's about a 1 in 4, yeah.
So, it's possible I can die. I'm hoping I don't, so I can just keep going and give you guys some extra downtime to kind of chill out. But if I die to Kraken, things are not going to be pretty. Pretty much, Zelrig. Looks almost exactly like that, just a different color palette.
I'm just seeing speedrun.com says like you're on VA, but it also says that it was actually done on the GameCube. My question would be, is pretty much everyone running this on GameCube, or are there still people that are actually running this on an actual GBA?
So I know some people run it on DS, some people run it on Game Boy Player, which is GameCube, but it's just a it's basically just a console for Boy Advance cartridge that allows me to play it through on a TV instead of on a handheld. Pretty sure Plexa is a virtual console. And there are some people who play on emulator. Emulator runs are valid, they're just not valid for world records. So, not like that's forbidden.
Gotcha, and also
Yeah.
there is probably bad because of capturing.
Yeah, I mean it's possible, but it's honestly it's easier because I can use the same capture equipment I use for my SNES for my GameCube. All I gotta do is move the AV cable from my GameCube, and that's a lot easier. Double inputs. Killing.
So yeah, this was the. I haven't been keeping track. I think this was the second one.
Yeah.
The second fight. Yeah. So we've got one more of these monster fights, and then after that we'll have a boss fight with the Kraken, which is of course the classical sea monster.
Beast the Kraken. No, rip off some other movie. What? What? I apparently hit A one too many times.
Huh? Yeah. What? I've never seen that one. What?
That's what happens if you talk to somebody while mashing A. With somebody in like a passenger in the row with them.
Alright, so yeah, after this next fight we'll be, as mentioned, fighting the Kraken, and as mentioned as well, that's a 1 out of 4 that we just die. So we get really used to less RNGs in the chat.
Now I wouldn't say it's 1 out of 4 that we die. I'd say it's 1 out of 4 that I
Well,
don't stun or sleep him.
And,
but
but it's
it's-
almost it. I would say that that's a very high probability that you're dead if that happens.
Yeah, I'd say it's 1 in 5 I die, 1 in 4 I butt clutch. Like that's really what it comes down to. Okay, 3 down, all that's left is Kraken. Now that we've gotten the third fight down, I do have to set everything up for Kraken, because I'm going to have very minimal opportunities to do so. And I want to make sure everything's set up so that the fight doesn't become unmitigated cancer. Okay, so first, heal you, second, or no, give the Elven shirt back, yeah, and I'm this Torch, and Zephyr, Fred, like we are good. So I'm set up for Kraken now. Should be a straightforward 3-turn fight, if I'm lucky. So the way this is set up is I have several different opportunities to either stun Kraken or put Kraken to sleep. I need one of those two things to happen in the first 2 turns to guarantee I don't die. If they don't happen in the first 2 turns, then Kraken can legit just wreck my face right then and there. And that is what we're hoping not to have happen. 3 in 4 chance that we'll be fine, but I've also had fairly decent RNG up to this point, so you never know what's going to happen.
Alright, Kraken is coming up.
Just double checking. Beware the Kraken! So let's go this torch. Let's go, Zephyr. Okay, nada. Ow. Oh my, wow. What? Okay. Okay. Was not ready for that. Oh wow.
Well,
Wow.
he's stunned at least.
Yes. Yeah, but this means I have to stop in Tolby. No matter what, I have to stop in Tolby because I have no more water speed. Honestly, it's just praying to the RNG gods now. Because I'm going full offensive right now. I'm not using any more crowd control. Oh. That hurt. That's gonna hurt.
Oh, Isaac gets a turn before Kraken does something, so...
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. We made it through, guys.
Oh,
Okay.
we made it! We did it! Easy
Oh
game.
my god.
Nothing wrong here, nothing to see.
Holy. Fortunately, this guy's right here. I forgot about this guy when I said I had to go back to Tolly. So... saves a little bit of time. Wow. Wow. I don't have... I was like looking at my health and I'm like, this is bad. I don't have enough synergy to heal anybody. Oh man, okay. I can't believe he first turn killed Ivan. Like, that is such BS, dude.
It's really unlucky. Somehow didn't kill your run, so that was something.
I just saved like 10 minutes by not dying to Kraken. Like, that was the whole... That one fight was almost the entire reason why my estimate is 25 minutes over. So the fact that we're past it is a very, very good thing.
We're actually on good pace because we saved a bunch of time on the Jin, right?
Yeah. I killed Kraken about 3 minutes ahead of him.
Yeah, so this is actually a very good run right now, guys. So
there's still a lot,
might even...
still a lot that can go wrong, but as it stands, we're 3 minutes ahead of world record. Just to be safe. I don't know, Ivan's fine. I don't know why I did that way. That was a really dumb way to do that. I'm probably gonna have somebody die, which is really bad. I should have summoned with me. Yeah, Waldo's dead. Damn it, Waldo.
Oh well.
Dude.
we have time for a quick donation?
Go for it.
We have a $25 donation from X Nolan X without comment though.
Thank you for the donation.
Yeah, and I was gonna say thanks for the donation. At least like, any bit helps, and even if there's no comment to say, well, thanks anyway.
Exactly.
You have to defend on this fight with Ivan because this Jin can legit just one-shot Ivan. Because this Jin is... Still about 2.5 minutes ahead. I lost some time because of deaths and bad menu. All in all, still in days.
Yeah, provided we don't get extremely unlucky on a couple fights. This is actually a pretty good run right now.
You know... Armored rats are the biggest jerks in this entire game, so you know. But since he didn't defend, it doesn't matter. The armored rats take heavily reduced damage, and when they defend, they don't just like cut it by half, they cut it by like 90%. They take basically no damage. So whenever I see an armored rat, I'm not happy.
So we're just going through the overall, picking up some more Jin. We just picked up the Mercury Jin, and now we're picking up another Venus Jin, which is one of the most powerful Jin in the game, actually.
Ground is like the second most useful game, behind Flash.
And so what ground does is it basically forces your opponent to skip his turn, which, I mean, as you can imagine, is pretty strong.
And ground is a guaranteed first turn gen, like Granite and Flash. But now, the reason I do that is so the armored rat can't defend. And that makes it so that I don't have to worry about the rat not dying to the side. Or maybe I do. What? What? I don't understand. Maybe I do.
Yeah, that's weird.
Telling me. Welcome to Alt Miller Cave.
One of the more elaborate dungeons in the game. Pretty interesting as well in the speedrun.
Judgment is the fastest tier 4 summon, by the way. That menu is super annoying on a GameCube controller.
I can imagine, yeah. So in this dungeon we're gonna be finding a major character who's pretty important to the plot. And we're gonna be helping him.
So this particular encounter is really rough. Dreadhounds hit insanely hard, so I have to use ground on it. And golems don't die unless they are the direct target of Thor or take equivalent damage. So I had to use 2 summons on this fight so that I had enough damage to kill the middle golem, which worked out because I needed to use Boreas to kill the Dreadhound anyway. And gnomes are very, very fast, so I'm grounding this to prevent taking damage. I'll come back and talk to that guy later. I don't feel like talking to him right now.
Exactly, that's our major character, but we are just gonna leave him there for a while. We want to go explore this dungeon first. That's what's on our mind.
Hey. Again? This is like such a slow encounter. Like the experience is nice, but I don't really need it. This is just a slow encounter because I have to use the 2 slowest tier 4 summons to kill it. And ground to make it die.
Is a meteor slower than Boreas?
No.
No?
It generates
They must
more
be pretty
lag.
close.
But
Oh, yeah.
it's not slower because the animation is faster. It's just, it generates more lag. So it's still technically faster to use Meteor. Not by much, but it is faster.
I mean, I never get to use Boreas, so yeah.
That's fair. Boreas is very, very useful. Good to get that. Really? Hate that menu so much.
Just a quick reminder, guys, that we are currently at $2,105, but I bet we can also get the 3,000 now. I think
That would be something, wouldn't it? So we get to the 3K mark. I'm sure we could do it. Just need to keep that up.
I get a really high encounter rate and a really bad set of encounters in this dungeon. Sucks. It costs time, nothing you can really do about it, but oh well. Also, if you want to know what colors these correspond to, you can reveal these stuff, and it'll show you what color they are.
Yeah, it's also always a fun time where you forget which color the stones belong to. You're just trying it out and then you fail.
I have notes for that, so I don't have to worry about it.
In the manipulated categories, it's always the same colors you have to pick, so there's no need to remember anything. You just write in the notes which ones you hit.
That's just...
But yeah, now that we have the drought, we're gonna go back to the old guy who's lying on the ground, and we're gonna see what's up with that.
I don't feel like dealing with this now. Not my surprise, oh god.
Oof.
Hate armored rats. So much. Okay, so normally you would do one cutscene on the way in here, and then one cutscene on the way out. We said screw that and just walk past the old dude because what's new. And so now we have to talk to him twice and deal with 2 cutscenes. So this is kind of a relaxed time as I break my arm again.
Yeah, so story-wise, it turns out this guy's actually the ruler of the nearby city, who has been missing. So the guards were looking for him. We found him here, and we ended up saving his life with the drought. And as a reward for saving his life, he lets us enter that tournament that everyone on the boat was talking about, without having to go through like a trial kind of thing.
You know, at the age of 17, we had to prove better than everybody else because reasons, and also we're allowed to use magic and cheat, and nobody cares.
Yeah, basically Isaac cheats in the tournament.
I mean, I'm not going to, but like he has the opportunity to have his friends cheat and help him. And I don't do that because I'm an honest kid.
Yeah, that's why. It's not because it's slower to help.
Right. Talk about this like it's a speed run or something.
It's a man.
Oh no, who would have guessed?
It's a man. Who could have thought?
Who'd have thunk it? So Ivan's reading his mind because Ivan's a cheater. He's like, I don't want to wait for this guy to answer the questions, so I'm just going to directly from his brain. I feel like this would be a lot better if I had Waldo and Seffi in the chat with Ceriam, since I named everybody after them. Except for #GM, of course. Because then when things go wrong, I can blame them.
Though, man.
I could blame him. Every time I yell at Waldo for doing something stupid, Waldo'd be like, hey!
Yeah, that's true.
Although Waldo did do something very nice and kill Kraken before everybody died.
Yeah, that was something. He saved you there, so...
Thanks, Waldo. We're coming up on the 3-hour mark.
And we're on good pace still, so that's something.
Pretty good.
Even with those really bad encounters, we're still doing okay.
I'll really, like, I can get some bad RNG with Colosso, so the split time for that is coming up here after the... So we'll know what kind of pace I'm on once. Actually, I'll know what kind of pace I'm on once the heart dies. Kind of go from there.
Oh yeah, because you're skipping the third one.
I'm just gonna suicide the third.
Yeah. Everybody does. They don't want to win the tournament. They're like, screw that. I'm tired.
Yay, we're out.
We made it.
Just for this last little gauntlet back to Tolby. I don't think I've ever made it that far without an encounter before. What the hell? Not that I'm complaining, but like, you saw how far I ran, right?
That's a really good encounter rate right there. Even before you get like 3 more before you reach Tolby.
Oh my god. I don't need a redux at the second to last room in VS2, okay? That encounter rate was... Just to be safe. So for the first time
so
in
we're
a
gonna...
while... Go ahead.
Oh. Yeah, I was gonna explain that we're gonna give all the Jin to Isaac to make him strong enough to fight all these guys in the turn.
It's a lot safer. I mean, there are more aggressive strategies that are kind of cool. But, this is the only one that's really sufficiently safe. This is the first time in a while we've actually had all Venus Jin and Isaac.
Actually putting him in his Lord class set.
I mean, not right away. He's still a Squire because I got 4 of them off.
Yeah, but that class set is his.
Oh yeah. Well, Ivan's coming up with ways to cheat, because that's what he does. Thanks, Ceriam. Of course, I'm not going to cheat, because I'm honest.
Yeah, so the thing with helping like Isaac traverse the obstacles is that it's actually slow because the puzzles are very simple and you need to wait for your opponent at the end because it's a tournament that you have to fight at the end. So like making the puzzles like faster doesn't actually save time because you have to wait at the end.
Yay, auto scrollers. So this is actually the first point in the game where answering no to questions is actually faster.
Yeah, because saying yes is you get to like they will explain the whole thing if you click yes. So
and most of the time, like usually most questions is the same speed, It's just the animation of Isaac nodding is faster than the animation of Isaac shaking his head. But this is one of the few instances where it's actually faster to say no, because the time saved from the difference in animation is rather significant. So there are items that we could collect. We don't care about those because I don't think we get to keep them anyway, and it's just, it takes time. There's no point. Because all I'm going to do is use summons and synergy, so I really don't worry about the items. I just want to get to the other side as fast. Oh, okay. To the other side before the other guy does, but also as fast as I can.
Yeah, try not to fall.
And so now we wait, because the AI of the fighters is they grab every item. Come on, do it. Which makes them take forever, so... You just kind of gotta wait for him to pick up everything and then come over here and wreck his face. Just how it goes sometimes.
Maybe we have time for a donation then.
Yeah, go for it.
We got a donation from Violet R from Canada, over 25 bucks, saying, "Here's to a great guy who really needs a break." Cheers, man.
Yo, 25 bucks, thanks dude. That's great.
I'm a little over a minute ahead.
That's pretty good.
Nothing BOC.
With some good RNG, you might even turn it into a bit of a larger lead even. It depends.
That's the hope.
I mean, you had some bad RNG in the cave, so...
Yeah. That's for sure. I'm just hoping I get a quick death on the third fight. The Vampa doesn't like to give me deaths, so he likes to just swing and stuff.
Yeah, sometimes. But the best outcome for us, and the reason we don't need to win the last fight is because the story progresses either way, so we can just lose. And losing is faster than trying to win.
Yeah, if you die to the first two, then you end up in the infirmary, and it's like, oh yeah, you were just dreaming. But if you lose the third one, it's like, oh yeah, you were good enough to make it to the finals, but you suck. Usually have the conversations. And if you die on the first or second fight, you legitimately have to do this entire Colosso sequence over. It is physically agonizing.
So yeah, just going through the gauntlets again, and it's another auto-scroller basically. Have to wait for the other guy at the end. And they're tragically slow, to put it that way.
Yeah, like I'm not worried about movement mistakes in this section, just because I have to wait for him anyway. So, as long as I'm not slower than he is, which is pretty hard to do, I'm good. Ceriam, you got the right idea, man. Please don't defend. Okay, perfect. That was actually the ideal fight. It takes that many Ragnaroks to kill him anyway, but since he didn't do anything aggressive, I didn't have to take a turn to heal. So that fight went about as quickly as it could.
So we have one more gauntlet before facing the quote-unquote boss of the tournament, but as mentioned, we're gonna intentionally lose to the boss.
We want Navampa to just wreck our stuff. 2-turn death is ideal.
We're hoping for a turn 1 critical hit, then you're dead.
I don't think I've ever gotten a turn 1 critical from him. Ever.
Like, all your Jin standby, turn 1 critical hit should kill.
Alright, here we go, the final match.
Hype?
Need to get some, like, old-timey sports commentary for the Colosso finals. Like John Madden level commentary here.
I think I'll pass.
Oh man, could you imagine?
In the blue corner!
Yes! So the one thing that's going to be different about this gauntlet compared to the previous gauntlets is we're actually not going to run up onto the stage right away, because the stats of the enemy you face depend on which item they get, and since this one is a weapon, we want him to get the better item, because we want him to kill us as fast as possible. So I'm just going to kind of chill until I see him go up there, you know, and then he can wreck my face pretty quick.
I have this particular thing down to science, like I stand at the perfect pixel so I can instantly start moving the moment he's like ahead of me, and essentially lose no time at all.
Okay. Attack me again, please. Yes!
Alright, nice.
Alright, we're a minute ahead, guys. Now again, there's still a lot that can go wrong between here and the end. Where I had a run that was like, what, 2.5 minutes ahead going into the area, and then I got to the room right before the area and it wasn't anymore.
And then he wasn't.
Yeah, then I just wasn't anymore because everybody was dead. So there's a lot that can go wrong. We're obviously hoping nothing goes wrong, but there's a lot that can go wrong. So we're gonna hope for the best and kind of keep doing the thing. And then upcoming here in just a minute is going to be the last really long tech smashing scene until the very end of the game. 7-minute tech smashing.
Don't forget to exit the bed.
Yeah, thank you. I forgot that last time. Like tabbing A and left. There we go. Alright, now for lots of exposition.
This will be a lengthy cutscene.
That's an understatement.
You could complete the Super Mario Bros. Speedrun in the time you have to go through this cutscene.
You're
I'm not
wrong.
joking. I'm not joking. It's real.
I didn't want to say no. Stop mashing A and B, you idiots. Talking to myself, by the way. Come on, hashtag GN. Stop saying no. So I have no idea how much time I just added to my run by answering to that question. At all.
I'm not sure how much it affects.
I feel like it's just going to be the extra animation time, but I'm not 100%.
Maybe I can tell you guys then that the Mario Kart goal is actually achieved, and there's only one left per match for it goal, in which all runners have to find, pick up, and use the space jump. So if you guys still want to see that, you gotta donate. We still need 44 bucks for that.
Ah, come on, that's easy. You can easily do that, guys.
There's no greater item in that game than Spazer. That is a fact. Simple fact.
So we're now learning about what's basically Atlantis, but in this game's universe.
We're already to the point where my elbows and shoulders are popping from button mashing. So, it's been a long 3 hours. The reason I don't do more than one run a day.
Okay, you're right, it is pretty long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, this
we're not lying.
This is the last long cutscene before the end of the game. Like, there are some more cutscenes, just a few, but they aren't, like, this long. This is supposed to be a major expositional point. And this
they're
this does
expanding
a lot
on this a lot in the next game, so yeah.
Yeah, this does an unbelievable amount of foreshadowing for the Lost Eight. Please make it. Pretty sure it's almost over. Oh, thank God. Okay.
We made it. We're alive.
My arm isn't quite broken. Okay. So I want to get everything back to how it was. Because I want my gins. Because I'm going to use basically the same strategies that I was using. Ow. You win.
Alright, so we're picking up the guy that we were just talking to, and we're gonna travel with him to the final city in the game.
Oh, my surprise, oh god.
Well, at least they didn't wreck, they just did it.
Oh my god. Why is Ceriam so slow?
You still have the mint, right? Might as well use it.
I already used it on Garrett.
Aye, aye, aye.
Oh, you know what I need to do. Judgment, teal.
Yeah, so these sandstorms are our obstacle in this dungeon. So, it turns out that when we use DAOs, the monsters that cause the sandstorms come out, and then we can defeat them and continue.
Yeah, the idea of dousing a sandstorm to create a thunder lizard is... In what universe does wind plus sand plus water equal in a small game? Please help.
I can only assume that they don't like water, so when you douse them, they get angry.
And that makes sense.
Ooh, a weasel claw. Useless item, but we have one now.
Yeah. No. You two. There's a lot of kind of heavy decision making here in the 11th hour of this, and my brain's fried, so.
Yeah, we're getting into the end game, so... Fatigue is gonna be a thing. We've been going for almost 3.5 hours, and there's at least half an hour more to go.
Yep. I can't believe I made it that far without a non-tornado lizard. That was insane. I usually have one fight between each one. Like, I'm not sure how to process all that.
Yeah, some good RNG to go against the bad RNG we had earlier in the cave.
Could be fun. Wish I could do that. Right? Seriously? Shut down. At least they did something inconsequential.
Yeah. Draining your psi energy. No. Please don't. Pretty sweet way to finish some guy off.
Yeah.
Ragnarok.
Party attacks first. What? I got
Yo.
party attacks first on Flash.
Let's go.
I don't even have to
Flash
waste
is an
time using
asshole.
ground.
Yeah, so usually Flash is an asshole, guys, so getting attacks first on him, it's pretty great. Saves us the time needed to use ground.
You want to explain to everybody why Flash is the most broken gen in the game?
Alright, well, by now everyone is familiar with Granite, because they've seen it. And Flash is basically really busted Granite, because Granite is only a 50% damage reduction, only, and Flash is a 90% damage reduction. So when you use Flash, you're practically immune to damage. And this plays into a lot of the final strategies in the end game, where we are so under level that our opponents will just do too much damage to survive even with Granite, and then but with the addition of Flash, we'll be able to stay alive.
This is a little punchy. If I get too many encounters or make one mistake here, I can basically have rip run. Made it!
Yeah, we trying to skip that tornado, so...
That tornado is a boss that will completely wreck your base. Just cause. Just in case.
Might as well have some extra safety for now.
Yeah. Well, no meteor. As Ape is dirt. Ape is faster.
Yeah, just a regular attack. At least it's not a ransack for the freaking 100% bonus damage or whatever it is.
Ransack is so pointless. Okay, so we're coming into the later stages of the game here. Basically, nothing can be killed without using a tier 4 summon now. Some will require 2, especially once we get to Venus Lighthouse. So everything is getting a lot more dangerous, and really good that we get Flash at this point in the game. Otherwise, there would be pointless grinding at some point in the category. I feel like I don't need 2 summons here, but I'm doing it. So. Also, I love Flash so much.
Yeah, as you can see, we get hit by Fireball and it just does nothing, basically. Because Flash is pretty good.
That's really not good. Oh my. I don't have Thor up for the Golem, which is really bad. So I'm just kind of hoping at this point. Because I don't have Flash, I was hoping to hit